There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Hey everybody, we are live.
Hello.
What's going on?
We're here with AR Comics today, and today it's just me and John because we had to let Rex go. It was time.
It was time. He's a nice guy, but you know. No, Rex.
Now I'm in the chair.
I'll be next week. It'll just be Amy. It'll just be hi. This is Amy's Comics.
I like having you here, John. Though I think we have a good thing going on.
We do. I guess that's partly why Rex is gone. No, Rex will be back next week. I certainly don't want to.
Amy does a great job.
Hi, Dave. What's up?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I kind of want to get this out of the way a little bit. Try to do this. We kind of debated a little bit how to do this respectfully. I kind of didn't want to turn it into a bit like, hey, this is happening by this comic. I didn't want to do that. But most of the people watching have probably read the news. And if you haven't, I'm sorry to be the one to sort of just blurt it out. But George Perez, who, is a legend, one of the nicest guys in the industry, like hands down ever. Everybody has these great sort of anecdotes of positive experiences with him. He put on Facebook that he received a terminal diagnosis from his doctors. He opted to just sort of let nature take its course. He wants to try to, basically live as much of his life as he can while he can. I would very strongly suggest that people take the time, find him on social media, and express your good wishes now. Usually all these good wishes and stuff happen after the person has passed, right? Like, oh, they were a legend. I think George is someone who has enjoyed the fans and the industry so much, he would probably enjoy hearing it now. You know what I mean?
And actually, let me chime in real quick.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you would.
Nick.
Nick, who knows George a million times better than we do.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to know him since I was 12 or 13 years old. And, you hear nicest guy in the world all the time. Yeah. And I think with George, he's the epitome of nicest guy in the world.
Dave just commented, George Perez is always so generous with his fans. He's
really
doing a
is.
signing in January and wants to do as many as possible.
Yeah. No, George. George isn't on social media, but I think just the goodwill of just saying everything. He's starting. He did not like social media, the cesspool that it became, and so he clocked off social media like a year or so ago. Not everybody knows this, so I just want everybody to know because I don't want people looking for George's social media trying to and going crazy.
Yeah.
I will tell you, this is how nice of a guy George is. when I was 12 or 13 years old, I was at a creation convention. And I went up to him because he was one of my heroes, New Teen Titans, Justice League, Thunder Agents at that point had come out, the deluxe comics editions. And Crisis still hadn't even happened yet, which ended up being my all-time favorite series. And I asked George if he would help me with some comic ideas. And he was so nice. I mean, it was basically get away from me, kid. But first he said, let me autograph something for you. And then he said, or I brought stuff for him to autograph. I can't remember. It's like, yeah, he's like, listen, I would love to help you, but I don't want to hear your idea, or I can't hear your idea, because even if it's 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, if there's anything in your idea that I do that you think I took from you, you'll be mad at me. And I don't want any of my fans mad at me.
And that was just the kind of guy he was.
And that was the nicest way of saying, seriously, don't bother me. He didn't say I'm on my way to somewhere. He didn't say I can't listen. He didn't say anything but you would be mad at me.
Yeah.
And that has stayed with me for 40 years.
I mean, think about it. How busy is, George Perez decades.
He was a superstar in 82.
Yeah.
He was a superstar. Him and Byrne were two of the first superstars after Neil Adams and Steranko, when you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. They were in that first sort of class, I guess you call it, of
the direct market superstars.
Yeah.
They were in the direct market superstars. You did not get higher than George Perez and John Byrne and very few others as far as new artists at the time.
Yeah.
And, it's just, you had people like Paul Smith when he did the X-Men. He was on top of the world for a little bit. This was before people really appreciated Barry Windsor Smith on Marvel Comics Presents. They only had the older material. So if you want to just post what you think of George, just feel free to post it and send the good vibes out there.
Yeah.
We're seeing some good vibes already.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
The announcement was that.
I mean, and I even said we didn't want to bring the show down, but it's a kind of thing that we sort of, we wanted to, acknowledge it.
Yeah. What were you saying they are?
No, it's Kyle.
Kyle.
The announcement on, I'm reading the post that they put out on social media. He has they've started social media pages for him that will be run by his people, so that if you do find a George Perez on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, he will get those messages.
Oh, that's great.
From the people who are helping him. He can't, obviously with his health, do it himself, but he's got some folks who are willing to wade through that water for him. So
that's awesome.
Very cool.
AR, did you have anything on George? Or
I mean, I'm obviously a little younger, so I don't have those types of experiences, especially, in the comic book community. I haven't been following it, my entire life, just more of the last, 5+ years. I got into it a little bit more. He's obviously done incredible work, but I don't really have a story or, things like that. But I mean, you still have to recognize and acknowledge how, big he truly is.
100% agree.
I feel that way when I see artists like Milt Caniff, right? Milt Caniff came before my time, of reading comics or whatever. But then I go back and look at some of the stuff he's done, and you know what I mean? And even though I didn't read it in its prime, some of these things might even be comic strips in the 40s or 50s. I'm just blown away by the work, and I think that's the way. When I see some younger readers, they'll look at something like Crisis, and they'll look at these splash pages George did, and they're just they're blown away, like, oh my god. I'm like, yep, this is long before things were CGI'd in and scans. Or
I was going to say digital.
An artist and a board and his or her materials, and that's how this got done. And to me, that's just outstanding.
It's kind of a shame that, as a newer, not newer, but, a younger reader, it's kind of where we're at right now, kind of with what you were saying. A lot of things are digital. A lot of things, they're drawn on the computer. So that's what a lot of new readers are used to.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for everybody, but I know I've talked to some people that said, yeah, they don't really like older books because of the art style. It's not modern. It's not all over the place and in your face like it is now. And it's like, it's kind of a shame because that was hand drawn back in the day. That's someone's time and effort, and they really put a lot of care into the things they did. And now it's just, a little stroke on, an iPad. And if they don't like it, they can just hit undo and do it again. And there's things that they can use that make a straight line for them.
Yeah. It's different. It's very, very different. Sort of different. One of the things I spoke to a gentleman who was this is about 7 or 8 years ago. He was putting together a project about the history of comic strips, right? And he talked about how this went from things being super simple for comic strips because they had to bang these things out really fast to the really sort of detailed work of guys like George Perez and Barry Windsor Smith this was probably conversation was probably about 2015 to what things were now. People were already using different, kind of digital mediums to create these things. Backgrounds were always the same. Robert Kirkman joked about it in an issue of Invincible, how many times you kept getting the same panel of like the headquarters and how, it's just always there. It's literally just like something they cut and paste and cut and paste and cut and paste. And he and the artist, Ryan Otley, sort of were poking fun at it, but they kept doing it in the book to make the point versus, artists who in previous generations had taken the time to do, painstaking backgrounds. And John Byrne, who Nick mentioned earlier, talked about, hated doing backgrounds in the beginning. And then later in his career, he realized how important it was, and it became like the favorite stuff he did. He's like, I hated drawing the Baxter Building like a million times. But then by the end of his Fantastic Four run, he's like, I realized that the buildings, the characters, the setting, the architecture are as important. And I think George Perez very much realized you have to see like the whole picture. Comics, because of the panels, are almost a little bit of like a weird telephoto type lens or whatever. But when a guy like George Perez just decides, we're just going to blow up your whole view. I don't know if anyone else was really doing it at that level when he started. And now I think people have kind of vibed on that art style a little bit, and technology helps them too. You know what I mean? Now every panel almost looks like, a massive pan and scan shot from like a 70 millimeter movie. That's honestly not the way comics looked, when a guy like George Perez broke in.
No.
You know what? People want to keep leaving their comments. Go ahead. I mean, I really don't, we do these shows to be fun. You know what I mean? I felt it was important. Nick felt it was important to sort of, address this, let our viewers, kind of weigh in, let AR weigh in.
You guys are leaving some really nice comments here. TP, and I love yours. He did a sketch for me in 1985, and he was such a great person to take the time to do that for a 15-year-old. That's so nice.
Yeah. So many people have these anecdotes of just, how he would take time, or, like you'd run into him in an elevator and he would just do some kind of like little sketch or something for you on like a paper bag you had like a comic in or whatever. And it just really, you know what I mean? Not every creator has the kind of warmth that George had. Not every creator has the personality for that. They just want to do their work. It's a job, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've never heard a bad word about George. I've never heard a terrible story. I've never heard, and I guess there's a lot of anecdotes about there, creators have bad days or whatever. I've never heard anyone say a cross word about George other than, he's like the warmest, nicest, most talented guy that they have met at cons or shows or whatever.
Now, I've never met him, and I've never met Todd McFarlane, but from the stories I hear, they're kind of on the same level, as if, everyone just loves Todd McFarlane. Every time they meet him, he's always the nicest guy. He just shows up and does a random signing, and he'll sign everybody's. And those are the same type of stories that I've heard about George Perez. Just always happy, always willing to talk, and just, be friendly.
You know what I mean? I think people who are creative, their introversion or extroversion is almost amplified by the artistic. You know what I mean? The average person, they go to their job, they smile on the train station or the parking lot, whatever. But I think when people have these physical expressions of their creativity, like comic books, it's almost more magnified. Like they're happy to share it with people. I mean, let's be honest. George Perez could have done something else for a living and had the world's best sketches in his basement. You know what I mean? He chose to sort of, turn his talent into a profession and a platform to share with other people. And I don't know if that is as prevalent today as it was then. You know what I mean? Especially because back then, like Nick mentioned, he really was in that first tier of artists where, the direct market artists, where people were looking for posters and anything, you know what I mean? Please feel free to leave your comments throughout the show. Al, if you think of anything too, don't hesitate to bring it up or throw it out there. I do want to get started. We do have some pretty cool stuff today. I know you guys, partially tuned in, or at least mostly tuned in for the books. Why don't we start with a best offer?
Best offer, yes. Something we were talking about right before the show started is Dr. Spectre over here, and you're a Dr. Spectre fan.
I am. I really like Dr. Spectre. I know it probably didn't have the overwhelming market appeal that some of the other books have. I'm hoping that if Dr. Spectre is published again, I'm hoping now that we're in the age of Doctor Strange, multiverse stories, I'm hoping that Dr. Spectre sort of finds new life. We'll put it that way. As people know, I tend to be in the publisher's ear a lot, asking for books. I'll tell you right now, if you're not familiar with Dr. Spectre, go check it out. Go to your local comic book shop. They appreciate the support, and check this out. Our issue here.
It's Dr. Spectre, number 4. It's the high-end Ward Virgin Art limited edition.
Yeah.
So there's only 25 of these.
We're super fortunate to have, basically there's one, and I think we're going to start this at $20, which is about a third of what I've seen it floating around for at shows. There weren't
MSRP is like 100.
Yeah, they're
rare covers, like they're always like that, like something like around 100. So this is
when you're getting under 100, under 50, under in this case 25. That comes with a price tag. Someone is going to probably take this home for significantly less than its MSRP. So if anyone's interested,
you have until 7:55.
Until 7:55.
Put in a claim.
And I think most of our people know by now, but for the new folks that have come in, first of all, thanks everybody for joining us.
Always.
But for the newer folks that have joined us, it's pretty simple. We're going to discuss books. If there's something you like, claim it with the title. Kyle will throw up a link for you, or like a QR code or both or something, and you just click on it, and the instructions are real easy.
Yeah.
We get your name, your basic information, like where do you want the book sent, that sort of stuff. And
your real name and your screen name. It makes it a lot easier for us to know who you are.
Yeah, a lot of us do not use our real names as our screen name. I do because I'm dull. But people take time to come up with really like cool ideas and stuff like that. And this way we can get stuff to you as quick as possible. This particular cover is just the image. If you really just take a second to look at the image, this thing is really like, I guess it
grabs your attention immediately.
Yeah. I guess the adjective would maybe be kaleidoscopic. It's a real trippy cover. And if you read Dr. Spectre, it's a real trippy character, and it's a real trippy book.
That's cool.
In some ways, it's almost Ditko-esque. If you've ever read stuff like Shade the Changing Man, kind of similar in a way. I would recommend, like I said, even if people don't pick this up and bid on this, I would absolutely recommend going to check out Dr. Spectre back issue bins. I think you'll like it.
Do we want to do another best offer real quick?
Yeah, you know what? This one will give people a choice. This is a little bit more of I would have to say probably a better known character.
Another best offer we have. It's Magnus Robot Fighter number 1. It's another high end Virgin art.
Again,
that's a cool cover.
25 of these are made.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say Magnus is something I've talked about before. on the show. Magnus is a character that's been around since I think the 60s, 1969, maybe even before that. Magnus is one of those characters, they always find stuff. It always finds new life. It's found new life with other publishers. It's found multiple new lives with Magnus Robot Fighter. Magnus Robot Fighter and Dynamite has been featured so many different ways. It's almost like a precursor to Soniaversal and Vampyverse. We've seen different versions of Magnus Robot Fighter in the same stories. Really cool idea. To grab one of these is kind of nice. I'll tell you right now.
The same rules apply. Best offer starts at $20.
And it's $7.55. We'll be closing it. We'll absolutely give people time. We'll give people an end line. Just beware if you're kind of one of those people that likes to snipe. There's a little bit of a lag. Mm-hmm. So, please don't wait until there's 0.1 seconds on the clock. There's a good chance you're not going to get your bid in.
Okay.
Alex, I'm curious, have you read a lot of Magnus?
No, to be honest, I really haven't. On Rex and I's live stream yesterday, someone, I can't remember who, but somebody commented and said Dynamite needs to get more hardcovers so AR can start adding them to the collection. And I was talking to Rex about it. I feel like at this point, I really am moving away from a lot of single issues. Even on my new comic book day books, once the series is kind of up, I usually move on from it. But if there's a hardcover, I'll probably rebuy it. That's kind of where I'm going with my collection at this point. Is I'm just kind of moving away from a lot of single issue stuff and moving towards collected editions.
I think a lot of people are doing that, actually. I certainly don't want to see the single issues, vanish entirely, but I think we consume our content that way now. I know people who are waiting for like a series drops, right, on one of the streaming services, and they're waiting for all of them, and they want to binge watch them. When you buy a collection, hardback, graphic, whatever, it's because it's usually issues 1 through 6, 1 through 10, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's because we live in a more, when I was a kid, I would get issue 1 and wait, and issue 2 would come a month later and whatever. Now people are like, no, people want their stuff, ASAP. So I see where those hardbacks are super popular. I'll tell you right now, and maybe I'll see if we can try to get one up here sometime. If you're looking for hardbacks, one of the better, very cool hardbacks to get value-wise, if you like art books, is one of the Art of Dynamite books. They have some really neat stuff.
Those art books are always cool.
Yeah, they are. They're really, really put together well, and they're not that pricey. Actually, I mean, I've seen hardcovers of art collections that are like $100, and that is not what the Art of Dynamite is at.
Because I know you mentioned it a while ago, the Gail Simone for Red Sonja. I keep eyeing it up. Yeah. I've seen it a few times now in the store, but I just never pulled the trigger on it. But that's definitely one that's been on my radar. And I don't know. I do like to read the books as they come out. I love New Comic Book Day, but I just truly don't have any attachment to these books, like these single issue books. But when I get a hardcover, when I open a hardcover, it just feels so much better to me. It's like, oh, wow, look at this. We got all these issues in it. Look at the artwork on just like how the hardcover was even made. They always look so nice.
Well, you're right. And there's always extra material too, right?
Yes,
there's always,
there is.
Unused covers or alternate covers, which you just didn't get. You know what I mean? They always kind of put all that stuff. I mean, I guess, almost like Easter egg type stuff where, you know what I mean? If you get the single issues, sometimes there are many readers, they just really want to read their comics and move on with that. There are some fans that really kind of want that extra stuff, that deeper dive. And I'll tell you right now, the hardbacks are just very cool for that. Plus, they look great on your shelf. Like if you look behind AR.
I got a little collection going.
Yeah.
And even with the single issues, there's so many times where, I mean, if it's a new series, I almost always typically try it at least for a couple issues. But even some of those new series, it's just like, man, I kind of feel like I wasted my money on some of these. Maybe I'm 4 issues deep and then it takes a different turn, or they announced it as an ongoing and now you're 5 issues deep and it's like, all right, well, I wasn't a big fan of it to begin with, but I'm $20 deep, 5 issues deep. Do I really want to continue on with it? And if you don't continue on with it, you kind of did just waste your money then. But if you buy a hardcover, maybe you also waste your money on that, but you have a lot of issues. You have all the extra stuff. and you just never know what's in them sometimes. So
I just caught Nilo's comment, actually. Nilo, when this show is over, I will see what's available. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everything that's in the vault. If they're available, I'll ask about putting them on a future episode of the show, because they are just absolutely beautiful. I mean, I know I'm biased, as a Dynamite fan, but these things are just objectively, I think they're a great value. I mean, I've paid
100%.
Yeah, I think they're a great value. They look really nice on your shelf.
Oh, they really do.
I'm saying, there's that feeling of opening it up. At the end of the day, you sit down, light, something to drink, you open this thing up, and it's really, it's like an experience, which, I don't know people get when they just like fly open their iPad and read a single issue and close it and, go walk the dog or whatever.
AR, do you want to pick a book before we take our first break?
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you throw something out there?
Man, I do it every week, but I up those Ken Hazers down on the first row.
Yes.
Every week I want to start off with a Ken, but that Ice Cream Man one in the top center, the Dr. Seuss, I think that's a second print. Maybe third.
It's a third, actually.
Third print.
Ice Cream Man number 20.
That is an awesome issue. It honestly is. It's Dr. Seuss. It's one of the Ice Cream Man issues that really has the kind of horror vibe to it. Because some of them, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Ice Cream ones are just, there's a lot that are kind of hit or miss to me. But this one was very Ice Cream Man, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the third printing, and it's CGC graded at a 9.8. So MSRP is usually $89.99, but it's one of our 5 stars for $50 tonight.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That's pretty sweet. I'm glad we kind of came out swinging with that.
Sweet like ice cream.
I know, right? Do you like ice cream? This is, I think what Alex said is great. This very much has like a Shudder. If you ever watched that streaming service, it very much.
I have that. I love that streaming service. I think that if you're a horror fan, I mean, this is definitely not comic book related, but if you're a horror fan, Shudder is a fantastic app.
Oh, I you know what? I didn't have to ask. I saw it I think I saw it on Twitter or something, and I just clicked on it. They're like, oh yeah, it's like $8 a month or something, and it's just tons of horror movies. I'm like, done. We don't.
Yep, that's literally what I said.
Talk about this.
I actually think it's under $8. I think it's like $6, maybe
it
even
might
$5.
Be, yeah.
It's just a fantastic deal.
It's just they have great stuff. They have original content. They have some, the usual rotation of movies and stuff like that. Really kind of neat.
The originals are honestly better than most of the movies they have on there. Those originals are fantastic.
They really are.
I was really surprised.
I'm at that age where I remember like the Sci-Fi Channel originals, where they were entertaining but awful. You know what I mean? Like Dino Croc versus
Oh
Shark
my God.
And it was
I
sort
grew
of
up watching that.
Art school year one CGI, and just, kind of like the acting was not great. You know what I mean?
It was all bad, but it was so good.
But the stuff that Shudder is doing now, that original stuff is, it's very, very good. I'll tell you right now, not that they're sponsored the show or anything, but I think you get like a free trial a week or something. And I'll tell you right now,
there's a free trial too.
You click on that for the first week, you're going to be in, because if you're a horror fan, I had another service for a while and they just did not have a lot of stuff. I'm trying to remember what it was, but and it was fine, but it was more expensive and it had less content, and they didn't really do much of anything original. I mean, Shudder has Elvira, which, we know a little.
We love Elvira.
We love Elvira. We know a little something about Elvira. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely check it out. I'm trying to see what time it is. Kyle, I think it's our break time, our first break time? Yes, no?
I think it's 6:29, so.
Kyle's like, he didn't wear his glasses, so you have no idea what's going on. Yes, that's right. I am not wearing my glasses, and I can tend to see a little bit here and a little bit there, but why don't we shoot out to break? When we come back, we'll start moving into.
We'll do a remark or two.
We'll absolutely do a remark. We have a mega pack, and we'll have the Dynamite.
Everyone loves a mega pack.
Those mega packs are fantastic.
I like to kind of do these together. So Alec is going to hang. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back in like 3-ish minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
And we are back. We're sitting here
What's
talking
up?
about we are sitting here talking about movies. One of the things we want to talk about movies. Obviously, we're going to get another Batman.
Are you interested in the next one that's coming out? It's March, I believe.
I don't know.
Trying. I mean,
The Batman.
The Batman. I've just, I get it. I get the story. You know what I mean? He's a rich dude. They killed his parents. He's traumatized. He spends like $1 billion on weapons grade, vigilante stuff. My wife was stunned. We watch Christmas movies during the holidays, and we're in the Harry Potter wheelhouse now. And my wife was devastated to find out that Cedric Diggory is Batman. Like, she had no idea. I'm like, well, this guy was also in Twilight, right? And then I saw the penny drop.
I knew Cedric Diggory before I knew Twilight.
Or,
Harry Potter always.
So, I was sort of had to tell her, look, this guy's been in a lot of stuff and he's going to be Batman next year. And the look on my wife's face is she's trying to enjoy her Hogwarts movies. I'm like, I'm sorry, maybe I should have saved this for like New Year's. Speaking of Batman,
yes,
we have
Detective Comics
for Ken Hayes' remark
number 1000.
This is essentially one of one. We like to always talk about. Ken is really a master of this art form. This is one of one. This is almost like the quintessential, Dark Knight pose. I mean, Ken has done a bunch of different takes on Batman.
Is this a specific Batman or does it matter?
Golden Age, Silver Age. I would very much say this is like a 2010s Batman.
Okay.
People who know Batman more might have like a little bit of a different take, but to me, that's
what? Google George Perez Batman. Believe it or not, that's the first thing I think when I look at that. That's a mix of George Perez, and Neil Adams.
I mean,
it's crazy that I never noticed that until now. But
I'll look it up too.
Perez Batman face and send it to Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, this Batman right here, usually $89.99, but tonight, in honor of Detective number 27, it's $27.19.
Oh wow,
It's a hell of a deal.
Yikes!
What do you think of that, guys?
Man,
$27.
Nick is not wrong at all. That I had to look up the artwork just to see the comparison.
Ron takes it.
That is a very good.
You're gonna love it, Ron.
Ron, I don't blame you at all. This book. I was just about to say, if nobody takes this, I don't think it'll be here on the shelf next week. But
I was gonna say the same thing. I have a friend who's a massive Batman fan, and if no one picked that up, I was gonna buy it for him.
Ken is just, Ken's sort of, and I certainly am not disrespecting any other artists when I say this, but I think Ken found a space of remarks where he can really sort of showcase his talent. You know what I mean? We just saw that Batman, which very much Nick felt had Neil Adams and George Perez energy, for lack of a better term. And I think we're going to do another Ken Hazer book because that disappeared so fast.
Let's knock out our remarks.
Super quick. I'm not sure if you said Ron picked that up, but I think T-Pain got in there before him.
Oh,
it
said his comment says been detective. I wasn't sure what that meant. I'm sorry.
I would guess they would probably buy it now for detective. But
okay. I'm learning something new today. That's good. T-Pain, can you confirm?
Yeah, I was gonna say if that's that's what I would guess, but I don't want to, just give it to somebody else. That.
T-Pain, if you confirm it, then it's yours. My bad.
This is almost sort of the thing, these live streams, which is, you know what I mean? We appreciate when people bid on stuff. We try to get, we try to see who. Yeah, I think T-Pain.
All right. Yes, real quick, guys. We don't normally use that buy it now language or the claim language that a lot of other shows use because some of the spam filters on the different platforms will flag that stuff. So just put in the name of the thing you're buying and the information. But if you look at the timestamps, T-Pain was in first.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
T-Pain,
Kyle. Appreciate
T-Pain,
it.
I'll write you down. We fixed it. Thank you for letting us know.
And here is George Perez Batman.
Sweet.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, Nick is right.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's knock out. Let's knock
another one. Totally switching gears here. Literally like going from first to fifth. We're going to do Archie number 1. This is Mark Waid, Fiona Staples. Ken Hazer remarks the cover. I mean, this thing is just...
That's a cool cover.
And it's like black and white, and he does like the one color, which we've talked about before. I absolutely love that.
Now, is that...
Sabrina?
I was going to say, is that supposed to be Sabrina?
Yeah, I mean, Archie, there is, Archie is another one of these characters that's gone multiversal, right? We see him in different time streams now, in different eras. We see he's married to Veronica, he's married to Betty.
I don't watch the show, but I'm looking at what's on Tumblr right now. It's like, has this show gone off the rails? What is happening?
Yeah, there's the Riverdale version. It's a little, we've had a zombie apocalypse in Riverdale.
No, Ron, we'll take Archie. Definitely got you this time, Ron.
This one is super nice. Do you want to tell Ron how much this one is, or did you already miss it?
1941.
It was on the screen.
That's man.
And not when Archie came out, right?
Now, John, I know I asked you, I think a few weeks ago about Archie, like the Riverdale show, and then the Sabrina show. We pretty much plowed. Me and my girlfriend pretty much plowed through Riverdale. The first season's real good. I think, like Amy said, it really goes off the rails. It really goes every different direction possible.
No, you're right. It has sort of. The show has gone off the rails. It wasn't my thing. I watched the first season because I was hoping it would be a little bit like Afterlife with Archie, and it was not. And that's fine. You know what I mean? Subsequent shows after that, when my goddaughter visits, she binges them. It's different. It's very,
very different.
What you would expect when you first think of Archie. From what I understand, to sort of, I don't want to say center the show, but to sort of get new eyes on the show, Sabrina is coming to Riverdale.
Okay. So this book's perfect timing, huh?
Well, it's not like a spoiler alert. This thing is all over social media. They've talked about it. If you watch Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix, you kind of, in your current, you can see how she can sort of be in two places at once.
Now, I've seen, I think, the first 2 seasons of Sabrina. I've been taking that one a little bit slower, but that one is fantastic. I really like Sabrina. That's a great show. So far.
That show is legitimately chilling in places.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good show.
Yeah.
Riverdale, I thought the first season was great. Second, third season, very, well, I don't know. It was just okay. I don't even know if it was okay.
For the people who are enjoying it, just ignore us.
Not for me. The 4th season, though, the one I'm on right now, I think it kind of goes back to, I don't know, it kind of grounds the show a little bit more, kind of makes it more realistic again instead of just going in all those directions. So 4th season's not bad. I think there's a 5th season yet. I'm not sure, though.
Isn't it on like 5 or 6 right now?
Sabrina?
No, Riverdale.
Riverdale, I think, is starting season 5. I might be wrong, though.
What about Sabrina?
They've gotten a lot of, I think, honestly, I remember when Riverdale came out, people thought it was a terrible idea. The CW decided they wanted to do Nancy Drew. They wanted to do Riverdale. They were going to do the Hardy Boys, and then that project slid over to Hulu. Who completely did it differently. They turned it into almost like an 80s homage type thing with 2 much younger actors. I'd recommend checking that out if you know.
I didn't even know that was real or like it existed. That sounds cool though.
Yeah, it's almost like, how like Stranger Things has like the 80s vibe, and now there's like a lot of kind of horror that they're kind of like doing that 80s, essence, 80s energy. This was very similar. Kind of like 2 young brothers in the 80s. And, instead of going to school, we're going to solve murders. And I mean, I know on the surface it sounds ridiculous, but
sounds like fun.
If somebody said, hey, do you want to go to social studies or you want to go see a dead body? Chances are, I'm stand by me down to the dead body. Next thing we want to do, I think.
Do we want to knock out the last remark? Or
actually, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, let's knock out the last remark. This one is, again, showing the range of Ken Hazer. This is Gross Encounters of the Third Kind. This is IDW doing Garbage Pail Kids.
That's cool.
I'll tell you right now, this might not necessarily be for everyone, but this is just, the art he does here is just so, it's almost slightly, Mars Attacks in nature. It's just really kind of.
Whenever I see those aliens, I just think of that irritating noise.
Oh my god.
Now this one, MSRP $89.99, but this is going to be one of our 5-star books at $50.
And we've talked about
T-Pain on it.
T-Pain is on it. All right, I'll get you
All
now.
right. Yeah, I mean, we've talked, and I think seeing how quick these books are going tonight sort of is making my point here. This is where signed books and original art and collectability, they all kind of come together in one package, right? I've said this a bunch of times. If I was going to start collecting today, if I was young instead of being old, I would probably start with remarks because it's a great way to sort of, you're getting something original, you're getting something signed, and you're getting something unique. I mean, most remarks are one of one. We've had Ken do 4 or 5 different Batman, Catwoman, whatever covers, but each one is unique in and of itself.
I'm thinking about all the Punchline covers he did for us. Like they're all slightly different, whether she's looking one way, like a person, or if she's looking at like a reader.
Where the streaks of her hair were different. Mm-hmm. Just he was just feeling it. Like, I think this would look better here.
And they're all different in some way.
And I think that might have been one of those that was black and white and pink.
Oh, Ron has a request, so
sure.
We gotta get to the mega pack.
We absolutely will get to the mega pack. I just want to answer Dave real quick. Yes, Dave, that's Fiona Staples did Saga. She's, like when I saw Mark Waid and Fiona Staples on Archie, I thought to myself, we're like in a brave new world. You know what I mean? Because I think 20 or 25 years ago, you would not have gotten creators at that level jumping into Archie comics, at least not to my recollection. And now it seems like, I was at a Q&A a couple of years ago, and Joe Straczynski talked about he would love to do like a Jughead book. And the room was like dead silent because Joe Straczynski is, Spider-Man. Maybe some of the older fans remember he created Babylon 5. Like, I don't know if you would necessarily, and if you see him at shows, he's a nice guy, but you don't get the impression that he's like happy, smiley Archie type creator. And when he said he wanted to do like a Jughead story, you could have heard a pin drop. And that happened. People were like, what? Okay, cool. And it was like this kind of clap, like, you know what I mean? But everybody's grown up with Archie. Like, I don't care if it's a 30-year-old creator, a 60-year-old creator. They've all grown up with Archie. And I think when you've had people start breaking the barrier to, you know, I don't want to call it a forbidden door, but, you know, I don't know if you had, let's just say in the 90s, I don't know if you would have had Todd McFarlane doing Betty and Veronica. You know what I mean? I just don't think that would have worked. But
that'd be unique, though.
You know, like Fiona Staples, like Mark Waid, that are like, hey, yeah, you know, let's take Archie out for a spin and see where it goes.
So now, obviously, there's years worth of Archie comics, and I know there is a Chilling Adventures of Sabrina hardcover. But is there an actual Sabrina series like Archie? Because this is all new to me. I saw the show. Now I like it. Now I kind of want to dive into the books. But there's obviously years worth of Archie. And to be honest, I don't really think that'd be my style. But I am interested in if it's anything like the Chilling of Sabrina show.
You know, I know there's been Sabrina series. I don't know if they've collected them, because I know we were talking about we like hardbacks. I don't know if they've been collected. I'm going to say that I think there is a series, and Francisco Francavilla did some of the covers. I think just a few days ago on social media, he tweeted out a photo from like a few years ago of either Sabrina or it might have been Afterlife with Archie, which briefly peripherally, I guess you'd say, featured Sabrina. If you haven't read Afterlife with Archie, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I would absolutely suggest. Yeah, I mean, this almost seems like the lazy answer, but in this case, it's probably the easiest one. You just Google Sabrina comic. And, you know, Sabrina's had comics, obviously, since like the 60s, I think, you know, where literally it's the cartoon girl on a broom with her cat to, you know what I mean, the really more edgy stuff now. You know, I don't want to say mature because sometimes that's like the wrong connotation, but, you know, the edgier stuff. And again, a lot of top creators who now want to work on these books, where I don't necessarily think that was the case a few years ago.
I agree with that. I think they might even see where the show is kind of going, and that they're trying to hit it to be more of adult style. So now a lot of creators out there are like, hey, I might be able to do like my own take on this. It might be, you know, something really cool. Because it's not, you know.
You're right. We've seen, you know, they've done a bunch of, hey, you know, what if Archie did one of the whole things? Once upon a time was Archie never chooses between Betty and Veronica, right? That's like the eternal sort of, you know, which girl do I pick? Well, they just decided, you know, they got creators to, why don't we do a story set a few years later where he marries Betty? And then the companion book is, well, what if we do a story where he marries Veronica? And then from what I understand, they have a story coming up, or it has come out, where Archie marries Sabrina. And his life, not surprisingly, gets pretty weird. I heard the description of Archie almost becomes like Darren and Bewitched for fans of old TV shows. It's, you know what I mean? They're covering ground I don't think they had thought they would get to. I bet if you asked an Archie exec 15 or 20 years ago off the record, hey, do you think you'll get Mark Waid, you know, the guy who's done, you know, Daredevil and Kingdom Come and all these books, do you think we're going to get him doing Archie? My guess he'd be like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. You know, we're going to get an artist like Fiona Staples to work on the book. No, just no. And now I think it's, you know, it's very open. We have these incredible creators working on Archie, working on Planet of the Apes, working on these sort of older TV comic properties that I just don't think people imagined before. You know, Gabriel Hartman, I think, what he does on Planet of the Apes is probably better than what he's done on anything else. I don't know if his fans might agree, but, you know, go Google some of the covers and some of the stuff he's done for Planet of the Apes. along with Alex Ross, it's some of the best stuff I've ever seen for Planet of the Apes. Any like incarnation of that franchise. T-Pain mentioned really quick that the show has helped him collect remarks. That's the whole purpose of the show. I'm really glad you said that, man. We appreciate that. This is exactly the point of this show, to sort of grow the collecting community, sort of connect, interact with people.
I love Ron's comment. Next will be Archie and his sister wives.
Right? I don't know how far that they'll go with it, but we've had Archie in a zombie apocalypse. They're supposed to be working on some sort of. Well, they did do Josie and the Pussycats in outer space, but apparently they're revisiting that again.
Oh wow!
Because you've had a couple different versions of Josie and the Pussycats, and I think the one in space really kind of caught on, which is based on the cartoon from I think the 70s. And I understand that this is supposed to be a little bit like the kids go to space sort of thing, which again kind of proves to people like these characters and they're willing to follow them anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We've done Red Sonja here, where most recently Amy Chu had Red Sonja's sort of on the wrong end of a magic experience where suddenly she shows up in modern times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not great for Sonja. I think that one of the things I'm glad to have seen was there was a very dogmatic approach to books, and I think almost all those walls are broken down. Alec, I don't know if you see this any differently, but I think there are things maybe even 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that just wouldn't have happened. And now it's like an open conversation, like everyone's at a table. Doesn't matter necessarily what publisher you're with. It's the idea. Do you have a good take on something? Like if you're a creator and you've got a great Archie take, then next week you've got something really good for Spider-Woman. And the week after that, you got something for The Walking Dead. And you're just sort of, telling your stories, on each platform. And I don't necessarily know if that was the case, maybe 10 or even 15 years ago. To get to the Mega Pack, because I know someone asked about the Mega Pack. I absolutely want to get to that. I want to get to the Mega Pack, and then we're going to get to the Dynamite Sampler Pack, too.
Dynamite Pack, we should do a quick recap of what's on Best Offer, because we do have one more Best Offer item. We did our books, but we do have another Best Offer item.
We have...
so,
go ahead. No.
I was going to say, let's crack open the Mega Pack and see what's inside.
Do we... Kyle, I don't know if you have the images for this. Oh,
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, bud.
The CGC book is Batman Black and White #1, CGC a 9.8. Which cover is that?
This is the black and white Peach Momoko cover. That is just.
I really like Peach's work a lot.
There are not a lot of these out there. Let me be super clear. This is sort of, if you're a fan of slabs, this is probably your moment. Her work in black and white is outstanding.
And our other stuff, we got Grim Knight, #1, signed by James Tynion.
There's only 40 of these, and 40? This is number 8.
Oh,
nice
number 8.
Signed by James Tynion. And we've talked about this before. He's one of these characters currently that whatever he touches turns to gold.
Facts.
You know what I mean? The guy moves from character to character, book to book. And,
All right, what else?
The next book we have
Justice League #6. Ooh, and that's a remark with Batman.
It's a Ken Hazer remark. It's Batman, and almost it looks a little bit to me like the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne version because he has the red eyes. There's only 10 of those.
Oh, wow, even rare.
That's 10 of 10.
Yeah, Batman with red eyes. That's...
If you've seen Flashpoint and you've seen some of either the cartoon, either the animated movie or the show, one of the ways they differentiate Thomas Wayne from Bruce, he always has the red eyes and the mask. Mm-hmm. And that very much is sort of the energy there.
And the last one, Superman 52, signed by Pete Tomasi.
There's only 5 of these that he signed.
And this is
number 2 of 5. Nice,
so we got a kick-ass set right here.
Yeah.
Wow, I think all these books together would be like close to like around 300, and we're doing it at 99.
Like I said, that's sort of this is your moment. If you're looking to sort of jump into, if you want to test the waters of slab, is a great slab, black and white peach momoko variant of Batman. If you're looking for a remark, that's probably one of the best Ken Hazer Batman I've seen. And that's
awesome.
saying something because Ken's done some pretty amazing
And
Batman.
T-Pain would like it. Awesome. We'll write it down, T-Pain.
T-Pain, I gotta tell you right now, when this arrives, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so glad I got this. Trust me. The Batman alone
is spectacular.
The truth is I would pay $99 for that particular Batman. There's probably, if you guys want to kind of get a better look, I almost feel like the show should be sponsored by Google. I hate to say this, but if you go online and you check an image of the Flashpoint Batman, you'll kind of see what I mean. I mean, let's be honest. Batman is a dark character to begin with, but the Thomas Wayne as Batman is somehow even pushed darker, and Ken does a good job of sort of
What do you think, AR?
I mean, Ken always kills it, and even Ken aside, those the packs you do, the mega packs, they truly are just like such a phenomenal deal. 9.8, and not just, I mean, that Ken Hazer sketch, you honest to God could probably sell that 100 by itself. Then you've got other signed books on top of it. It's
it's
no brainer.
Books, limited number. The Peach Momoko black and white variant. There's just not a lot of those. They haven't done a ton of them. I forget exactly what the hook was there for retailers to get them. A lot of retailers just don't have them. So that means it sort of pushes you into that secondary con trade show type market. And once you get to there, that I don't mind saying, when books hit there, that's like the Wild West price wise, man. Things sort of, what you find and what you get is, next thing I want to talk about really fast. And then we want to do the recap, right? Or did we just did the recap, right? I'm sorry.
We got to decide because we almost have to take our next break soon. We did want to bring up the reader set.
Yeah,
which we love making. We love making those.
Dynamite 10-pack really quick. Those who have been with the show kind of know what we're talking about here. It is $10, and it is usually between a $40 and $50 value. And we have them for what?
$5.
$5.
$5 for $10.
For $10. I mean, it's
always a great deal.
It's a book that's less than the dollar bin find. And this is like a great way. They're really good for gifts, but this is a great way for people to sort of, try something new. You know what I mean? People, especially if you follow me on social media, I never shut up about Dynamite. This is a great way for you to see what I'm talking about at way less than I spent to get these books, which is sort of annoying, actually, but never mind. But they're great for gifts. We talked about this before. If you have some kind of secret Santa type situation and you're looking for something cool and you've got like a low price point, which is fairly common, especially in workplaces, this is a great gift. It's a great stocking stuffer. I remember I gave some away a while back for Halloween. You know what I mean? I had books bagged and boarded, candy bar went in, taped, and thankfully there were no eggs at my house. The kids love it. But we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get back from our break. But we generally always have these available, right? Just let us know. At 50 cents a book, I really just don't think, if you are a fan of the medium, literally this is almost like a no-brainer. Just let us know in the comments if you want one. When we come back,
always a random set.
They're always a random set. You know what I mean? We try also, if you buy a couple sets, we try to make sure there's no repeats, but it's not, we try our best. I'll put it that way. When we get back, Alec will pick more books. We'll talk about more stuff. We'll probably go through some more slabs.
Yeah. We'll do a quick recap of our best offers, and
anything you guys want to see.
Maybe we'll peek at our statue that we have tonight. So
yeah, we'll peek at our statue. Anything you guys want to see in particular, let us know, because we're just kind of cruising along. But if we want to jump to something that you guys want, let us know. Alec, hang with us. We're going to be back in like 3 minutes.
Awesome.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit ComicShopLocator.com today.
Collectables with Rex, and he's not here. Alec is here, Amy's here, and I'm here. Nick is off to the side.
Real quick, Stevie's comment. I'm noticing I'm not getting as hungry with Rex not on air tonight, and that's even with tacos on the family menu tonight. Now that you bring up tacos, I am hungry.
Dude, you jinxed
it.
Man.
I was going to say, I thought we were going to make it throughout talking about food. I didn't eat again before this stream. I'm starving.
No, you know what? A few people have said that. I think they appreciate the take, but I think when people haven't had
Rex isn't here because John finally delivered the taco truck, and when John came in, Rex stole the truck. He couldn't believe the taco truck was finally here. That he said, "I'm making up for all these months that you told me I would get tacos. I'll give this back to you when I'm ready."
When I'm ready. Rex has got a new line of work. Rex's Tacos on the side of the road.
All right. Real quick, we wanted to do a couple recaps for our best offers.
Let people know where we're at for sure.
Our first one we looked at was Dr. Spectre, number 4, Christian Ward Virgin Art. And it's best offer starting at $20. That was the first one we brought up. And the second one was Magnus Robot Fighter, also best offer, starting at $20. It's still open.
Both of these, I think, are limited. Yeah, both of these are limited to like 25 copies. This is like a nice way, when you go to a show or con, you look and you see people have, where they grab this stuff, This is a way for you to be on the other side of that conversation where you grabbed, a book that's $79.99, $89.99, whatever the MSRP is, for a low price. Someone is going to bid on this and wind up taking it home for significantly less than its market price. And we're happy.
And again, we have till 7:55. So if you want to claim them, let us know in the chat. But the other best offer item I wanted to look at was our statue.
I'm excited for that
statue. I have a copy of it right here. Like, I know there's a picture, but I also have the box right here. And we don't put Dawn on the show a lot, do we?
We don't. We really don't. And maybe we should, because this statue is based on Joseph Michael Linsner.
Yeah.
If you've read Dynamite, he's done a lot of covers. He's done a lot of stuff. He's one of my favorite artists. This is not from the Women of Dynamite collection, just so you know. This one's a little bigger. The Women of Dynamite collection are all of a certain size.
Someone always asks about height. It's like 12.5.
Yeah.
12.5 inches in height.
It's just,
and
it's really
almost 4 inches on the base right here. And it's the black and white statue, guys. Really quick. It's the black and white statue, so no one gets confused.
I love those. I have a black and white Betty Page statue, and I got to tell you, I love this thing. I'm super.
I'll try my best to show you at least the box, because
I don't know if we have an image for it or not, or
we should. And then Kyle took a break. Apparently,
I don't blame him.
So I'll try to show you, like, you guys, to the best of my ability, what the statue is.
No, that was awesome.
I'm back.
Oh, thank you, Kyle.
I can't really see out of my left eye all of a sudden, but we'll be good.
Oh,
I took a pill.
Nice. That's
Okay.
I'm thinking I maybe should have had more Mountain Dew today.
I might fix it.
Okay. Yeah, we were just explaining it's the black and white Dawn statue, and while usually MSRP is like $289, tonight it's a best offer starting at $50. Starting at $50, and again, it's best offer ends at $755.
Yeah, I mean,
Ronald coming right in.
Ron already been to 100. All right.
Yeah, this thing is going to go.
And Dave went to 110. Okay, I got to write both your names down. All right.
Joseph Michael Linsner has like a real signature style, and the fact that they've done the statue based on his.
There it is.
Thanks,
all
sir.
Right, thank you, Kyle.
You know, Kyle threw up an image so you get like a much better look at this thing. It is really, really impressive. And we've had some very cool statues here. We've had Dija Thoris. We've had a few other statues. This one is really, we don't see a lot of Dawn. I'll have to send Rex an email that maybe we should see a little bit more Dawn. There's a great Dawn Vampirella series that maybe we have something in the back for. Maybe a virgin cover or, black and white cover or something. I'll have to get him on. Dawn's just a great character. Dawn is one of these characters that's sort of, and I mean, I guess to a certain extent it's gender bias, right? Because once upon a time, there's very few female characters, right? And then all of a sudden the market really caught up with like, hey, and Dawn is one of those characters that appeared during the catch up, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you get lost in a crowd a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, you lose a tiny little bit of uniqueness. But this is, again, Dawn is a character. Go to your local comic book shop, kind of ask your dealer to help back issues or whatever. I don't want to take up too much time, but it's a great character. The stories that have been done for it are top notch. And this is probably one of the best statues we offer, especially at this price point. Even if nobody else bids, was Dave has it at 110 or something? Actually,
Ron now has it at 150.
150. This is a thing where, I think you said it's a $289, $299. So it's almost $300 statue. Good luck, gentlemen. We'll see where we are at $755.
AR, you want to pick our next item?
Yeah, throw something out, man.
Yeah, there's one I was looking at. It's the Secret Wars #1, the signed one.
Ooh, yes, Secret Wars.
Oh.
Secret Wars,
which is very timely.
Our Dynamic Forces exclusive cover.
Goodness.
And signed in red by Mike Zeck. How cool is that?
And it's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Especially we're at this timely. It's timely because I also think we're going to get some version of Secret Wars, Marvel Phase 5, 6, 7, whatever. There's no way that they won't do some part of Secret Wars. I think we're already starting to see some groundwork for that. Skrulls, shape-shifting, assuming identities of other people. They're sort of kind of like, slowly heading down that road.
I can't tell if I would rather have a Secret Wars TV show on Disney Plus, like 8 episodes or something, or like a 2-part movie, kind of like Infinity War Endgame type one. I'm not sure.
That, you know what? I think cases could be made for both, actually. The Disney Plus series, they've been on a roll. I know people have various reactions, but every series Disney Plus has done, I've enjoyed them. They've been kind of like fresh, unique takes on stuff. They've tried to touch on the
quick Secret Wars. While usually $59.99, that's our MSRP. It's going to be $19.84 tonight, and that is the year it first started, 1984.
And
wow,
Nilo grabbed it too.
Oh, Nilo! All right, I'll get you down. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it would have to be a movie only because of the amount of characters that are in there and just, you know what I mean? They're going to want to make that into a movie as best as they can. I don't think they're going to get Tom Holland and, the entire cast to just kind of be on a Disney Plus show. But honestly, I mean, what do I know? I mean, they're the ones that do this stuff.
I can see 2-part movie. I thought Eternal should have been 2 parts, honestly.
You can absolutely, if I have a problem with the Eternals, it's like the pacing, the way they sort of did it, like you didn't get if you're going to tell a story like that, it has to be 2 parts.
I
Tell the
totally
whole
agree.
story, don't-
I felt that way about Eternals as well. I kind of thought it was, I don't know. I thought it was very boring, but I get it was an origin story. I get that they have to establish everything, but the whole backstory was great. Then, they went their separate ways. Great. But then like you still had a whole second half of the movie and it was like, oh my God.
What
And
I
then-
wish is like,
Yeah.
why couldn't, like, if it was 2 movies, why couldn't the first one be all past, set everybody up,
Yeah.
see how they interact with humanity, and then the second part's all modern day, them reflecting on what they've learned, how they've grown accustomed to the world. Because I felt like they say, we see, like, half of them are like, oh, we love humanity, like we don't see how they like fall for humanity, like we don't see.
Mhm.
I feel like there's obviously great stuff in there. I just wish we had more. Well, like,
The
No.
mix
I wish there was
wasn't
more.
right. I don't, maybe like the Eternals should have been a Disney Plus series. You know what I mean? Like with everything they had to cover, maybe that should have been a series instead of a movie. I mean, I'm not.
They could have done like each character, like say like there's 10 of them, right? Each character gets their own episode.
And that's been done before in other, in other stuff where each character sort of had their episode. I think they did that a little bit with, was it Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix? I think they did that way.
I know. I was going to say, I know they have the Netflix show. I
Dave
didn't watch it
mentioned
though.
that it would probably have to be animated because of the cost.
Marvel Disney can make tons of revenue on animated content compared to live action.
They really
That's what I
can.
mean.
I think that's a great point. Secret Wars, if you really want to do Secret Wars, like really want to do it, that's a big budget. That's almost like an Endgame style budget. And I think animated, like Dave pointed out, is more within reach. I mean, I don't know in our current economy if you're going to be able to, hey, I need like $500 million to do another one of these. Like, oh, slow down. We rolled the dice with that once. I don't necessarily, there might be a different way to achieve this.
I think if they make a 2-part Secret Wars movie, I think that would be a massive hit. I think that could hit Endgame levels. Maybe I'm biased because I really like Secret Wars, but just
No,
that
I
type
think
of
that's- I
setup.
think that's a solid take for sure.
If they'd make that into an animated series, I would be very disappointed. I want to see that live action.
You know what? I think we're going through all these phases with Marvel, and I
thought of
don't.
something, but I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead.
I just thought of a question. Like, are there certain characters in Secret Wars who we haven't seen yet in the MCU?
Oh yeah,
You
Considering,
mean besides Titania?
yeah,
and-
there's
Now,
There's
for
a lot.
the MCU, we haven't seen Magneto, any of the X-Men,
Oh,
Galactus.
right. They gotta
was
bring
the
all that
big
in.
one I was gonna say.
Right.
So,
I
so
mean-
maybe they'll build up to Secret Wars.
They
in
might.
another
They might. We
decade.
haven't seen Spider-Man in the black suit yet because it's in Sony, so maybe we
And
did
it's-
see it.
Kind of,
No, because he hasn't worn the black suit yet since Sony and Disney did the deal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess because they have Venom, right? So they're sort of maybe they don't want.
and then what'll be interesting is if they show Magneto and Jan Van Dyne having an affair while
Yikes.
Jan's trying to find information out.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
There was
Yikes.
some racy stuff that happened in there.
There was race. That's actually true.
We haven't seen the Beyonder,
It's
obviously.
like Marvel After Dark.
no,
You
it
know,
would be.
I almost don't know.
For a 12-year-old reading that, or 13-year-old at the time,
I wasn't allowed to read that stuff. I'm sorry.
that's why I hid it from my parents.
I was too busy reading Vampirella. I'm sorry, sir.
That's got to be in some sort of hardcover form, but I don't.
What, Secret Wars?
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think they
gotta
made it
be.
a
I
hardcover
don't-
yet.
I don't-
No, they did. An
Did they?
oversized one, Alex Ross cover.
Oh, they
Oh,
did that.
Oh, wow. They really did take a big swing. Not only was it an oversized cover, but it was an Alex Ross cover.
It was. It
All
was
right,
all
Well,
right.
Well, I think actually Alex Ross, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he did all the covers for the newer Secret Wars run. I
No, that
think.
was Gabriel Dell'Otto. Close. They
That
both
was
have a
Dell'Otto?
similar Style.
Okay. I wasn't 100%. I thought it was Alex Ross, but I wasn't sure.
No. You were close, and it's easy to make that make that comparison.
You know, Dell'Otto does have he's got really good artwork too.
He does. He's fantastic. I mean, he is just so amazing. And when you think of all the characters that were in Secret Wars and all the tie-ins, you had everything from. I mean, look, you had Colossus, you had Kitty Pryde, you had Colossus falling in love with another woman, And that led to that great issue of the X-Men where they're at the bar, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine, and Juggernaut's there, and Wolverine lets Colossus get his ass kicked by Juggernaut and say, why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Look at what you're doing to Kitty.
New show on the Experience is going to be books Nick read when he was 12.
And still remembers.
And he still remembers. He's going to...
Let's not talk about American Flag.
Oh, my goodness. No. Ron wants to know what's
We don't want to talk about when Ruben was getting intimate with someone and then sees the chain around her neck.
Oh, goodness.
All right, let's talk about something else.
Amy, take him back to his office dude, so I can sell comics.
The one you were looking at, speaking of X-Men.
This one is so cool.
Mr.
Well, yeah,
and Mrs.
Ron
X?
asked what's the next signed book. Next signed book is Mr. and Mrs. X.
By Terry and Rachel Dodson.
This is Terry and Rachel Dodson, and it's the pink signature series, which we don't get too much of. Because I guess the bride is wearing pink, they decided to go with
why not
pink ink.
That's cool.
This thing is just, if you've seen Terry and Rachel Dodson, I don't think I really have to say too much more. They signed 40.
Well, it would be $49.99 usually, but tonight it's $19.63.
Oh, for the year the X-Men came out. This is number 5 of 40. It's a nice low number.
Ooh,
and
5 of 40, nice.
Yeah, I just like that.
Nilo grabbed that one.
Nilo wants it.
All right, awesome,
Am I reading
Nilo.
that right?
I'll put you down.
Now, I'll tell you what, I think Kelly Thompson's very underrated as a writer as well. She has been on fire with, honestly, a lot of things that she's been writing. The Black Widow series from Marvel is absolutely fantastic. I think she's part of the new team for the Amazing Spider-Man run. Not 100% sure.
That sounds right, actually.
I think she's part of it. I wasn't huge on the Captain Marvel. I thought it started off really strong, but when we started hitting around, 15 to 20, it kind of took a little dive, but still not a bad series by any means. I just couldn't fit it in the budget at the time. But yeah, she's definitely great.
For sure.
Do we want to do another? Do we have more signed books? Do we want to do another signed book?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think there's another one.
Oh, we're good on time. Yeah, let's do another signed book. We're kind of on a little bit of a run.
We have a request from Ron. What's the next slab book?
Oh, the next slab book. You know what?
Love is a Battlefield.
Love is a Battlefield. This thing is
we'll
pretty
do this
cool.
one real quick. Love is a Battlefield, number 1 from DC, and it is CGC graded a 9.8.
That's
cool.
This is one of these books I think
Harley and Ivy.
It's Harley and Ivy. I don't know if there's anything.
One of the best power couples.
Yeah,
from DC, in my
right
opinion.
now that's sort of they're having their moment in the spotlight. This is a book I know people have been looking for to get slabbed, and we've talked about it before. Getting books slabbed and graded is a little bit of a process, time, expense. We've got this at 9.8 for.
And again, usually books like these, $89.99, and tonight's it's one of our 5-star books at $50.
At $50. Nice. Today, I saw one of these on eBay. It caught my eye as soon as I walked in today. I just happened to see one on eBay at like $108. $108? It was like $108, and I'm like, wow. I think you can go check it if you want to, but at $50, this is sort of, I think, almost like a done deal. If Harley and Ivy is your thing, if you're into slabs, this is sort of this is almost like a layup. This is a real easy kind of decision to make.
I love how colorful it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is, like I said, this is their moment. This is their time. Characters have like kind of a natural, organic, ebb and flow or whatever. This is really, people are digging this. This is like, like you said, like a real comic book power couple now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the animated stuff from Harley.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the comic stuff from Harley. I would be willing to bet at some point we'll see something live action. I can't imagine we wouldn't.
I'd say at some point.
Didn't they say they were definitely thinking about it, right? Like Margot Robbie's campaigning for Poison Ivy, and like if Harley Quinn ever gets another solo movie, like she's trying to get Poison Ivy in it. Didn't she say?
And she did say that. I was just saying, Adrian was talking about he loved the web series. Yeah, I mean that stuff is great. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. We're sort of trying to focus on the books tonight, but always we appreciate everybody who joins us. you guys kind of make the show. I mean, I can come over and pester Nick anytime about comic book.
I got you, T-Pain.
I'll tell you what you could do if you don't mind. Like, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're enjoying the show.
Share.
Maybe share it.
Sharing is caring, as it says.
Well, it depends. You know, Nick says sharing is caring, but I guarantee you he doesn't want to share his favorite green wrapped candies.
You're right.
That's not getting shared at all.
You're right there.
And hit the notification bell. So this way you know when we're coming on. This way you know when other shows from the Experience are coming on. Try to cover, the Experience covers like the full spectrum of, you know, of shows. And I think you hit, you know, this way you'll know, you know, it's a nice way you get that message on your phone. Like, hey, you know, they're spinning up, click, you can watch. It's very neat.
I agree.
AR, you want to pick next?
I mean, we only got, I think, one slab.
You got that right. But
We're good. We're good. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I'm a minute behind. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, do we want to do the last slab?
Okay.
Sure.
Do it up.
George Perez cover. We spoke at length about George before.
Good old Maestro.
This is Maestro, which is my favorite incarnation of the Hulk. There's all sorts of Hulks. Immortal Hulk, Red. Apparently there's going to be an Orange Hulk. Joe Fixon.
Orange Hulk. Is that the thing?
It crapped up on Facebook. I'm like, please tell me this isn't real. Orange Hulk. I really would rather them not go the Green Lantern Spectrum route because, you know, I have no interest in seeing like Purple Hulk or whatever. But Maestro is just one of those characters that hung in there. And I think, you know.
This is number 2. Yes, number 2 at CGC 9.6. It's another one of our 5-star for 50 guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is getting slabbed books at this grade for this price. You know, we're at the holidays now. This is a great gift if you're looking for something, that comic book fan, the collector. You know, $50 for a 9.6 of a popular book. I would like to think at some point we would see Maestro in the MCU.
I was going to say, why is this your favorite?
You know what? And I guess this is me. One of my favorite DC characters is Vandal Savage. I love the fact of a character that lives long enough to move past their chronological arc of hero and villain, right? Like they're exploring it more and more. They're exploring it now in Young Justice. Vandal Savage, there was one point where he was like his world superhero. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's lived so long that he's like a hero and a villain and a hero and a villain again. If you've read different DC books, Elseworlds, whatever, he's a hero again in the future. He's like the last guy alive.
Oh, wow.
It's like the end of the world, like 40,000 years in the future. It's him and Superman looking at each other like, what are we going to do? Everybody else is gone. Maestro sort of has that similar energy of, you know, you get Bruce Banner in the beginning, and now you've had all these different incarnations of the Hulk, right? Doc Green, where he's smart, where he's not smart. He's a rage monster. He's different colors. Artists, more than any other Marvel character, I think artists have had a ton of fun with their take on the Hulk. I mean, Alec, I think we talked about this once before. There have to be 20 or 25 different takes on just the Green Hulk alone. You know, head shape, whatever. When Alex Ross did it, he almost did him like a giant Neanderthal with like a little kid riding on his shoulders. Maestro is sort of, I like when heroes get old. In Kingdom Come, I like the older Superman too, because they're just disgusted. They're absolutely disgusted with people, you know, like as civilization slides. They're like, you know, I've tried to save this world 1,000,000 times and you still keep messing it up. And I think Maestro gets to the point where, you know what, you guys ruined the planet. And I used to try to, first I wanted to be left alone. Then I tried to be a superhero. Now I'm just going to be in charge. I gave you guys every opportunity. None of you can really stop me anyway. I'm the Hulk. And I kind of love this sort of, I guess what Future Imperfect is the first Peter David graphic novel for this. If you haven't read it, you should read it.
Now, did you read the newest Hulk issue?
Immortal Hulk?
No, with the one Donny Cates did, brand new series.
I have not. I'm a little bit behind on some of the more mainstream stuff.
It's very different. I'm gonna continue on with it, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to talk bad on it. It's just I don't think it's for me. It's very different. And I think if you're a longtime Hulk fan, I'm not really sure if it's going to be for you either. I don't know.
Well, I think Hulk is you're right. I think Hulk is one of those characters where absolutely people jump on and off. People don't like the art takes, and people don't like it almost reminds me, I don't know which came first, but it almost reminds me of how DC has different incarnations, or they used to. Solomon Grundy. Every time he dies and comes back, he's a little bit different. And it seems like nowadays, every time a new creative team takes over for the Hulk almost changes a little bit, whether it's his personality or his look, or you know what I mean? Everybody feels the need to tweak the Hulk a little bit. And I think if you're a Hulk fan, you've got to sort of be like, okay, maybe I'm going to like this one, and maybe you don't. I'm a big Green Lantern fan, and kind of a traditionalist. Hal Jordan is my Green Lantern, but there are other times like I had to spend years with Guy Gardner. I don't like that character at all. I had to spend years with Kyle Rayner, and to me, he's like a zero character. He's not. I didn't like him, but I didn't dislike him. It's just a guy with a ring, and I'm like, I know I was supposed to see myself in that character because he was a comic book artist, but I didn't make that connection. And I think with Hulk, you kind of get this sort of similar thing where there are people that see the Hulk and they're like, "This is it. This is what I want to see." And then like Alex said, he reads the book today and picks it up. He's like, "Nah."
Now I could be wrong, because Adrian says the Starship Hulk was actually done before, and he saw the cover and it was basically what they did here. I'm not that well versed in the Hulk, I'm going to be honest. When I wanted to buy the omnibus for it, it was way too expensive, and I missed out on the reprint, and I just haven't read much Hulk over the years. The one thing that I have really stuck with was Immortal Hulk. I read that from beginning to end. Yeah. So if this was done before, or it was picked up, maybe we're the last time they'd done that, maybe a Hulk fan probably would like that. But me, with the no knowledge of it and then just kind of jumping into it, I'm personally really wasn't sure where I felt or how I felt about that take. But I mean, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's why comic books are so cool. Something for everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I had this conversation in a comic book group I belong to about Immortal Hulk. And I don't want to spoiler if people haven't read it, but it starts traditional, but it gets pretty trippy pretty fast. And I almost have to wonder if this project isn't sort of spearheaded by Alex Ross's amazing art and covers, if this book gets the same traction as it has now. You know what I mean? And I certainly don't mean any sort of disrespect to any other creators or whatever, but this is really a departure even for the Hulk. Immortal Hulk, you know what I mean? And of course, we've talked about this before, Alex Ross draws a picture of a garbage can, and a year later it's at a con for like $7-8 grand. It just seems to be the nature of the business. But I can't help but wonder if Alex Ross isn't doing the art for Immortal Hulk, does it have the same traction in the marketplace? They're at like volume 7 now of the collections. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I think this is one of these things where the work that he's doing on the Hulk is some of the best work Alex has done in years. And I think there's like a ton of heat for that right now. And deservedly so. But I think almost the story is like, it loses me. Not that I don't enjoy the book, but I understand what Alex is talking about, where you're like, not necessarily his thing.
And like, just because we're talking about it, and he mentioned the Starship Hulk, and I don't really know much about it. That's coming from the Immortal Hulk, where it was more of kind of a horror series, at least in the beginning. Yes. Like you said, it got more trippy, and I really liked the horror aspect.
Very much
I think it was like the first 20 issues, and I was like, wow, this is completely legit. I love that everyone's treating him as like this myth and this big monster.
Yes.
It got really... I don't know. It definitely went away from that as the issues went on, but the beginning was fantastic. And I know those early issues do sell for a nice chunk of money still. Nothing crazy, but still a good amount.
You realize the nature of the Hulk, and you're talking about it as a horror book. Imagine you're in the room with the Hulk. I don't know if I can think of anything more horrifying, especially if you're just you. If you're not a superhero or even a supervillain with powers, it's just you. Like, the Hulk blinks hard and I'm dead. You know what I mean? This is some truly horrifying stuff they did. Like you said, I think it's the first 20, 24 issues, maybe the first 2 years. That book is creepy.
Yeah, I think that's why. Honestly, I think that's why I'm so disappointed in that series is because they completely went away from that, and I thought that was one of the coolest things that I've read in a very long time. And it, like those first couple issues, even where he just was going from town to town, and it was kind of someone telling a story about when Bruce Banner Hulk showed up and a destruction in the fight that happened. It was like, wow, this is really good. Yeah. But it got weird. It wasn't a bad story. It just wasn't. I don't know if
they didn't know kind of where to go from there. Do we have to take another break?
We do, because it's 7:30.
We take another break.
I was gonna say we'll do one more quick recap and then we'll get to another sign book.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan, guys?
Solid.
Perfect. We'll be back in like 3 minutes.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
We're back.
What's up?
Are we back? Well, no, I always like to just kind of say hey a little bit to people who are kind of following the show elsewhere. You know, I don't like them to feel like they're completely forgotten. But if you're watching this somewhere else, you want to get into conversation, we have a lot of sort of great people that are here wondering what all the background noise is.
Apologies for that. It's all Nick's fault.
But you really are better off joining us on YouTube so that, you know, we can see your comments, you can interact. We have a lot of, we really appreciate the people who join us. We have some regulars. You know, these people have begun to interact on their own and talking about stuff, which is a beautiful thing.
I have faith that we can get through the rest of the books tonight. We're going to try, Ron.
But really quick, real quick recap, the best offer items, which were Dr. Spectre, number 4, best offer, starting at 20. Why am I blanking right now? Magnus Robot Fighter. Where I was going to say, where'd you move that? Okay.
Sorry, it's right here.
Oh my gosh.
This is Magnus Robot Fighter number 1.
I couldn't see it for a second.
We'll put these out here. These are both best offer books.
And $20. Our Dawn statue. Ron currently has it at $150. So if anyone wants to try and beat that, you have until $755.
Ron's going to be super happy. Yeah, we always like to mention when we're in our last sort of segment of the show, we'll do an end line. There'll usually be some kind of little countdown. Remember that there's a lag. You know, you want to get your bid in, get your bid in. I know sniping is like a thing, but we always wind up with someone who is on the wrong side of the end line. And I feel really bad. You know what I mean? We absolutely want everyone to sort of, you know, get their bid in. Well, someone asked about signed books. We have this I really, really like. This is a series that
is that the Avengers?
It's Avengers Undercover number
Avengers
1.
Undercover.
I love this kid. Dennis Hopeless signed 15 copies of this in silver. This particular one is number 14 to 15. I'm really hoping that Hulu, Disney Plus, one of these platforms kind of does Avengers Undercover, Avengers Academy, Young Avengers. There was like a short period of time. I know that Hulu has done Runaways, and that's sort of been received with mixed reviews. We'll put it that way. I've watched it. We'll discuss that on another show. But I really think they're creeping very slowly towards Young Avengers because we see Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, we've seen Scott Lang's daughter, you know, albeit, you know, young. We've seen, oh God, I can't think of his name now. The character who's Patriot.
Eli, right?
Eli, I couldn't think of his name for a second. We've sort of seen they're there. They're out there in the MCU. So.
I was going to Ron One's Avengers for 1963. Yes, I didn't get to squeeze that in. While it's usually $29.99, it's 1963 tonight.
This is really nice, and I absolutely love.
I'll put you down, Ron.
I love when artists have a nice sort of clear signature. You can tell that this is Dennis Hopeless when you look at it.
I like being able to read someone's name instead of just a squiggle. It's like, wait, who is this?
And I get it. If I had to sign my name 8,000 times, it would probably just look like a heartbeat too. But
what's another signed book?
Walking Dead.
A Walking Dead. How many Walking Dead fans are out there?
It's a Ken Hazer remark, and this is one of these things we've talked about this before. Ken is doing this in like a gold metallic ink. People who know art, people who create art, this is not the easiest thing to work with.
Now, since it's got really two nice sketches on it, it would be usually be $149.99, but we're going to make it a 5-star book tonight at $50.
Wow,
nice.
Certificate of Authenticity. This is Walking Dead 167.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. It's really cool. We tried to save a little bit of cool stuff for the end of the show.
I can't even imagine how that looks in person because I'm looking at it on the screen right now and it's fantastic, but in person it's probably just so much better.
I've spoken to a lot of creators. You know, you go to Artist Alley, the con, you're talking to them. Almost none of them like metallic pens. They use them, but you know, it's not their go-to at all. Ken somehow just decided to grab gold, silver, whatever, metallic, and just decided, well, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to make this work. And the stuff he does is just, you know.
I got your note, Ron. JL or Joel, that's all good with you? Because Ron says that Joe can have the book.
Okay. I mean, that's between, you know, that's up to you guys, please. Whatever, you know, whatever works.
Avengers Claim, Walking Dead. What else do we want to knock out real quick? Wolverine.
This is a character that some people like. Just kidding. I want to make sure I understand what I'm looking at here. This is a Dynamic Forces variant of the Death of Wolverine #1. This is signed by J.G. Jones. Now, this was limited to 340 copies. This is #2. For those of you who really like the nice low numbers on limited run books, you know, this one's really nice.
And it's $39.99 tonight, guys.
Right.
The cover is, you know, that's some sweet.
It's a very special warehouse find.
Yeah,
That's
J.G.
awesome.
Jones. We don't have a lot of J.G. Jones on the show. Maybe we should. We should see. I don't know if there's not a ton of it.
Guys, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of, you know, this is like the deep discount. Christmas time, you know, trying to kind of give back a little bit, but we don't have a ton of these. So kind of when they're gone, they're gone. Next book I want to do is
Dark Days?
Dark Days, the casting #1. This is the Andy Kubert variant. And I'll tell you right now, this is, again, for people who love limited series. This is Gold Signature Series. This is of 50 issues that Andy signed. This is number 1.
Number 1.
Number
Nice.
1 out of 50. I knew we had one up here somewhere. I didn't know. That is just.
Oh, Dave, if you're leaving, have a good night. Because
See you, Dave.
Have a great night, Dave. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, Dave.
Who's left? Dave! No!
Dave, you hurt Nick's feelings.
Oh, no.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, this is just, this is kind of cool. I'm excited when we have a number 1. Ironically, if a book, and maybe I'm the only one, if a book has 30 issues, 50 issues, I either want the first one or the last one. And I don't know if that's me, like I would want 1 or I would want 50. Tonight we have number 1 of Dark Days to Casting. This is like a really cool series. This took, no pun intended, this took DC into a darker area than they've been before, which is saying a lot. You know what I mean? DC has steadily moved towards the dark side, pun somewhat intended.
Kick-Ass cover 2 with Wonder Woman and Batman.
Yeah.
Anything that has a cool looking Wonder Woman on it, I'll take it.
Oh,
but this
is
one,
sweet.
let's fit real quick on Dark Days.
Go ahead.
I don't think we got the picture up yet, but for Dark Days, it's usually $69.99, but it's going to be a 5-star book tonight at 50. So if anyone's interested, it is 50.
That's a nice cover.
And that's not, and it's signed in gold, right?
That is signed. This is Gold Signature Series. Andy Kubert, member of like a royal comic family. Anytime you can get the number 1 of a limited run, that's sort of that's sort of your moment. That's your bat signal. If you're someone who collects limited runs and stuff, the nice low numbers are what people are looking for usually. Me, if I got 50, I'd be fine with it. I just another book we have is Nightwing, number 13. I'm sorry, what was that?
How much do you guys have the Kubert at?
I said what it was. It was $69.99 MSRP, and then it's 5-star for 50 tonight.
Actually, I think that's an $89.99 book because it's a Elite Gold Signature Series. So just
Oh.
to let you know.
Oh, my mistake then.
Not your mistake. I'm sure Rex wrote it wrong.
Oh no, Rex is
Be nice about it.
He's not even here.
Trying to be nice about it, but
it's still
anyway, it's still 50.
It's still a $50
still 50,
book
guys.
for you. It's an issue for former employee Rex. But next thing that we have is, I kind of want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see the signed books. Nightwing 13. This is signed by, kind of someone with a monstrous amount of credit in the comic industry, Tom DeFalco. Also Gold Signature Series.
So yeah,
This
and
was-
like Nick said, $89.99 MSRP.
$89.99. This
But-
is limited to 10 copies.
But guess how much we're making it tonight?
You tell me.
$19.40.
Wow, 1940.
Nice.
This is number 3 of 10, by the way. And you guys know by now everything comes with a certificate of authenticity in the back. But that's
Ron claims Andy Kubert. All right, Ron, I'll get you down.
and Andy Kubert is one of these people that has a really legible signature. You know what I mean? I kind of like that. Tom DeFalco too. I sort of, I like being able to see who signed the book. And then again, Gold Signature
I'll look for
Series.
myself.
That's a really deep
for
cut.
sure.
1940, that's really, really, really like 2/3 off type of thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good price.
What else do we have to do?
There was another thing I wanted to bring up. Another really, really cool item we have tonight is we have a Vampirella 4-coin set.
Oh yes, that was
Check
so
this
cool.
out.
These things are so cool. I love these.
And while they're usually like around $119, a little pricey, I know, but for Vampirella, we make it $69.19.
Nice.
Like, are you much of a coin collector? John?
No, but I'm a Vampirella collector.
Vampirella. Yep. Vampirella makes it even special.
What I liked about these coins, and I mentioned this, I think a week or 2 weeks ago, is the various sort of eras of Vampirella are represented on these coins, like different creators from the different eras of Vampirella. Really, really nicely done. Like a high level of technology to create these coins. Rex talked about it in a previous show. There's a lot going on.
And they're real currency, right? Technically,
technically they're real currency. I would not recommend, throwing them in the turnstiles at the train station, but they're real money.
If you're really in a tight situation.
They're very, very cool. I'm one of the very few people. Trading cards are great. Sketch cards are great. I love coins, and there's not like a ton of them out there, but they're. I like their durability. I like that they're in the little plastic cases. Very happy with that. We have this set. I don't know how many more sets we have. I don't think there were a lot of these made. So
I don't think so either.
You know what I mean? I kind of, again, it's one of those things where, and after Christmas, right now we have our year-end kind of, deep slashes. I don't know if these prices will be the same next year. We talk about this all the time. Market fluctuations in the prices. When it is in December might not necessarily be the same in January or February when this is back in the rotation.
Real quick. 9 minutes left on the claim items. All right, guys. For Magnus Robot Fighter, for Dr. Spectre, for the Dawn statue, 9 minutes left for best offer.
So, John, I got to ask you, only because we're talking about Vampirella and I know you're a big fan of it. Is there any particular Vampirella storyline to follow? Because I've been looking at, there's a Vampirella omnibus, like Volume 1. So to me, that would obviously be where to start. But is there something else that you would recommend for newer readers for Vampirella?
I think that's a great place to start. I would tell people, this is just the kind of answer I kind of throw out there. There's some Vampirella masterworks, which sort of, like Grant Morrison, different creators that have done different takes on Vampirella. Any of those is really a good starting point. Personal favorite of mine is a story called Blood and Roses. It's not, to me, it really gives you the essence of what the character is, because they talk in the series, they talk a little bit about her past, a little bit about where she is now, and almost makes the character wonder in the series, what is the future like for her? And I think that's in one snapshot is the word I was looking for. If you look for a snapshot of Vampirella, like I want to know if I like this character or not. Blood and Roses, which is collected, it's collected in I don't think it's in hardback, but it's collected, and it really sort of lets you, it gives you a nice peek of the character. And then, of course, if you're into it, you can go backwards and forwards and, that sort of thing. Like Alec mentioned, there's a ton of omnibuses from the Warren era and the Harris era. I mean, Vampirella is 1969, so she has a pretty lengthy history and run. She's moved sort of from publisher to publisher, but she's always been out there. You know what I mean? Dynamite has featured her heavily in the last 18-ish years or whatever it's been. 17, 16, I don't know exactly what the years have been. My guess would be in the future, and this isn't any sort of like insider baseball or anything, because we happen to be at Dynamite, but my guess would be it's not beyond the realm of possibility that you'll see a movie. I think at some point they've sort of announced that they've talked about doing a movie or whatever. I don't think there's any real specifics on it yet. Vampirella is also something that would make a great animated series, sort of like Invincible is right now on Amazon Prime. It would also make a great live action series like The Boys is on Amazon Prime.
That'd be crazy.
Characters like Vampirella and Red Sonja have paid their dues. They've put in their time, and I think now that we're in this era of everything's getting made, Marvel, DC, we're starting to see Image characters, Mark Millar's work. I think it's really time for characters like Red Sonja and Vampirella to sort of, jump into that mainstream.
As fun as it is to talk about Vampirella, we got 2 more books that we haven't talked about yet, so let's knock them out.
Let's fix that.
And we'll try to recap what we can.
This
I'm
is
not-
going to be
I'm not
done-
sure if you saw it, but Nilo did get a 10 comic deal.
I got you down, Nilo. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks, Nilo. Well, I'm trying to look at this. I'm like, I'm sorry, what are you saying, Nilo? I'm sorry. Thankfully, they got it. I'm old. We do not have this character a lot, and you know what? Maybe we should try to fix that a little bit. Martian Manhunter is like a corner piece of the DC universe. This is Martian Manhunter #1. This is signed gold signature series by Steve Orlando. So that means
another gold one. Nice.
Yeah, so that means its MSRP was originally $89.99. Of the 40 copies Steve signed, this is #2. This is another nice low number for people that are sort of.
And it's another cool price, by the way. We're making it $19.54 for the year he first appeared.
For the year Martian Manhunter first appeared. This is another book that's at least 70% off. I think Martian Manhunter is another one of these characters where, they've put in their time and in the animated series, and I would love to see Martian Manhunter appear. I know he appears in Supergirl, but I'd really love to see him appear in either the Snyderverse or, sort of whatever DC is going to go with moving forward.
Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
I haven't.
Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah,
no one's seen it,
we don't
but
need spoilers, but
What's the edition size on that?
I'm sorry?
What's the edition size on that?
40 copies.
What number is that?
This is #2.
You know what? That's such a great read. What do you have it at tonight?
1954, the year that Martian Manhunter.
Okay, so he predated Flash by 2 years. Tonight, this is a great read. Steve Orlando is one of the greatest, best writers in the industry that not enough people know about. We'll make it 1754. We'll knock an extra $2 off.
Oh, wow.
I want somebody to really read this. It's a great read.
Wow, that's.
You heard it here, guys. 17.
Nick really wants this. Well, I mean, not only is it a great story, but Martian Manhunter is just a character that so much can be done with. And I think because DC's universe, their roster is so stacked and so full, I think sometimes Martian Manhunter gets lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I believe that.
My favorite DC series of all time is Kingdom Come. And if I have one problem with Kingdom Come, is that I don't think Martian Manhunter is strongly represented enough.
And the first, okay, I see a claim from Ron and I see a claim from Joe. I see Ron first.
Yeah, Ron was first by less than 1/10 of a second.
And he says, sorry, Nick, but most likely I won't read it.
Nah, you know what, though? I'm really glad to see this go. Like I said, we don't see Martian Manhunter enough. We really, really don't. And I'm hoping that maybe if he gets, right now, if you watch Young Justice, several of the issues were taking place on Mars, involving Miss Martian, Martian Manhunter to a lesser extent.
But then he says,
"Oh, we're at Kyle. Thank you, sir.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes for claims, guys. 2 minutes for Dr. Spectre #4 and Magnus Robot Fighter number 1, right?
And we have
For #1 and the Dawn statue.
We have
Dawn
one
statue
book
that's
left.
currently, again, Ron so far is winning at 150.
150.
Does anyone want to steal it or?
Nah, he's a poor Ron. He's trying to get a statue. He's trying to get people to swipe on him. You know what? I think, as short as we are, I think we're just going to wait on this because I don't, I want people to sort of do their thing. If you want to do a quick recap of the other stuff that's out here.
Good idea. Where do we do? Let's do the slabs real quick.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Maestro #2, the CGC 9.6.
It's a George Perez cover. We spoke about George earlier today.
5-star at 50. Another 5-star at 50 is Ice Cream Man #20, CGC 9.8.
Stevie B, you're right. Joel is the king of near misses tonight.
What else? Death of Wolverine. You're
right,
I gotta look at my
Adrian, the lag
notes.
doesn't help. Actually, Ron said, I'm sorry for interrupting. Ron actually said, Joel, if you want this, Ron is happy enough to kind of, slide that over to you. So just let us know in the comments because it's going somewhere. Just let us know where it's going.
25 seconds.
20 seconds. Oh boy.
Coming down.
We'll just wait. 15.
Are we gonna do a New Year's Eve?
Why not?
I was going to
10,
say
9, 8,
8,
7.
7, 6, 5, 4,
Snide.
3, 2, 1. And that's it. All right. All right.
Bidding is
Sorry,
done.
that's funny.
The
I thought you were actually
confirmation
gonna post
we did
something.
get was Joe will take Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
So I'll put that down. And Ron, you got a very nice statue for 150. Congratulations.
Yeah, Ron, that's wow. That is such a great statue.
It
I
really
love
was.
this time of year. It's kind of like the giving time of year. We're doing everything we can. One of the reasons we have people like Alec join us, we have people like Robbie join us on Monday, is to kind of give people like a little bit of context for everything we're doing. You know what I mean? It's great to hear another opinion on some of this stuff. You know, what's coming, what's come before, you know, what we've read, what we haven't read. I mean, we've read a lot of stuff, but not everybody has read everything, which is why I really love when people in the comments sort of, you know, they throw out their takes or you know, they'll throw out their, you know, what I call an assist or their information, which is super appreciated. We got a couple minutes left. So I just want to thank everybody. Thank Amy. We'll try to get Rex off Skid Row and back in the seat next week. This Friday, Nick's original art show, where it looks like you made Nick sell. If I saw the video, you're making Nick sell. What art did you make him sell?
Mark Bagley.
Mark
We got some
Bagley
really
art
nice Mark Bagley art from Sinister War.
from Sinister War, which is
That's
kind
really
of
nice
very
pictures. I
relevant,
highly
just
recommend
sort
you
of-
checking it out.
yeah, it's sort of really relevant to where the Marvel Universe is going now. Obviously, check out all the shows on the Experience. Check out Alex's show. Check out Robbie's show. Follow the Experience on social media so you kind of also have like a little bit of shows that are out there. Eventually, there'll be newer programming. You won't want to miss that. You know, we always appreciate Nick letting us give his stuff away for next to nothing. We will be back. Some grouping of us will be back on Monday to give away more Nick's stuff. Kyle, thank you for, as usual, you know, being down in engineering, making sure everything runs right. Everyone, you know, have a great weekend. And
Always thanks for watching. And let us know what stuff you want to see in the future. Like,
absolutely.
whatever.
Comments, email Rex or whoever.
email Rex, email me. Shout out to John or Nick.
Shoot
Anyone.
it on social media too. If you're checking out Alex's show, you know, say, hey man, when you're on the show Wednesday, you know, talk about this, you know, just put it out there and we'll try to get to everything.
And again, when you fill out your forms, give us everything, your real name, your screen name, your address, because we want to make sure you get these
We need
books.
to book your books as soon as possible. Alec, we really appreciate you joining us, man.
As always, thank you for having me. I love doing this with you guys. It's always a blast.
Awesome.
It's a blast having you.
I think we're done. Yeah, it's great having him. I think we're done. We got to everything but one book. We'll get to the one book next time. We tried to get everything. Congratulations to everybody that won Best Offer, got their books.
Stevie B, great show. Now let's eat.
Now
I
let's
agree.
see.
I'm about it.
Thanks for joining us. Kyle, I think you can take us out, bud.
Night, everybody.
Thank you again.